Hey guys, Big Lang with Sixpence Productions here. Happy Friday. And we're going to do something a little bit different today. I've been using Friday mainly to do movie fix videos where I take an existing movie or TV show and then give my thoughts on how writing-wise and story-wise it could be better. But I thought it would be interesting today to react to something. So, for those that don't know, one of the first things I ever wrote was it started as a TV show, a script, and then it became a comic book miniseries. So we took basically the first episode of the TV show and I broke it down into 5 parts. Paid for an artist, did all this stuff, and actually we're looking at how to go about republishing it now, called Crowns of Hebron. And the idea was to take the story of King David and to tell it in epic, heroic fashion with all sorts of cool things. I won't spoil anything, but we changed some things. For example, so Jonathan is the main character, Saul obviously. We added Uriah in earlier in the story, who, if you don't know, that's the man that ultimately David sends to die because he steals his wife. And so we made him I made him a more prominent character. And I saw today, I've been hearing talk of this, but I saw that Amazon has released a trailer for their King David show. So I'm going to watch it and kind of give you my initial thoughts reacting to it. This is what all the kids do, right? And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. There'll be more things like this. We want to expand and have the Movie Fix be kind of its own series and eventually have a sort of full studio. You can see I need some better lighting in here. We've been taking stuff down after Christmas and everything. So anyway, I'll jump right into it. That's a good shot.
Can one stone change the course of history?
Not a fan of the voiceover.
Goliath!
The old sword on the back.
Why do my brothers get to fight? And I'm stuck here.
David, you are not a man of blood.
He sees into the heart.
Samuel.
And you have the heart of a lion.
I saw the print of a hand, larger than a weaver's basket.
I have a giant. What?
Fight him with the same spirit you bring into this room.
It's not about the greatness of the giant. It is about the greatness of God.
Are you afraid?
Terrified.
I believe in you. Can one stone change the course of history?
Lots of interesting things. I didn't want to talk too much while I was watching it. My initial thoughts are it looks very good, and I mean artistically. A lot of times when you see faith-based things, they're lower budget than mainstream things, but nowadays especially, that's not really an excuse to have something that looks poor. I mean, the quality on my iPhone is better than what they filmed the Lord of the Rings movies on, camera-wise. So as long as you have somebody somewhat competent doing all your editing and your color correction and all that stuff, it should look good. But even some of the action and stuff, we only got snippets of it, but it looks good. I'm cautiously optimistic. And it also seems to me, with the only line that I didn't like, I wasn't a fan of the voiceover. Voiceover always strikes me as kind of a cheap trick and cheesy, almost always. And Christian movies love to do it. Epic fantasy stuff loves to do it too sometimes, and it's just one of those things that you want to tell the audience a lot of stuff, and it's difficult to do it in a way without just having somebody say it. So voiceover ends up being a cheap fix to that. But I don't like it. It's overplayed, I think. And I also think that by treating your audience with a little bit of intelligence, and film is a visual medium, so writing is important, but part of your writing process is coming up with, okay, what shots am I going to show to demonstrate what's going on without having somebody just have to say, this is the story of David and yada yada. But so I didn't like the voiceover, and he had one line where it was like, it's not about the size of the giant, it's about the strength of the Lord, or something like that. That just sounded pretty cheesy to me. But other than that, it looks like they're trying, at least from this trailer, to portray a much more serious and gritty version, maybe more accurate, at least to the tone of the Bible and the Bible story. And that, if they do it, that's going to be awesome, because that is something that Christian movies dealing with stories in the Bible, particularly that aren't about Jesus, have really struggled with. I think of the Pure Flix Samson movie, where they just completely don't comprehend the character of Samson. And they can't figure out how to fit Samson into this modern evangelical Christian framework. And so what they do is they just end up making him kind of a big buffoon that gets tricked into doing all this stuff and yada yada. So if they can avoid that trap and they allow certain characters to actually be complex and layered, and they're the good guys, we're rooting for them, but they make mistakes and they have problems, they sin, they fall short, and they have certain predilections, shall we say, towards different things. A few other things that I'd note. So the action looks great. It looks beautiful. A lot of the shots look really good. There's the one shot of I'm not sure, of the queen or whoever walking. We're behind her and she's in the flowing red dress, or like even some of the big battlefield shots we get. But another thing that I find interesting, and I'm torn because this story is very important to me and I love it. And so part of me is like, somebody else is doing it first. But I hope that they do this, and I like the idea. So when I wrote Crimes of Hebron, I had Goliath as a main protagonist for, say, the first season, because it wouldn't make sense that the Philistines would be at war with the Israelites and that this guy would just show up out of nowhere. Like, he kind of shows up out of nowhere in the Bible because he's not really important to the narrative that the Bible is trying to tell. But if you're trying to tell a more complete story as far as a narrative story that makes sense, I think it makes sense that that Goliath would be, pretty high up in the Philistine army. This is not his first battle, and so I like what I'm seeing as far as having him be maybe a persistent threat, at least over a couple episodes, that he fights in other battles before he issues his challenge. And there's the really cool shot of him talking about seeing the handprint on the pillar or the side of the wall or whatever. So we'll see. It's interesting. It's an interesting time to be alive in entertainment, for sure, maybe just in general. And I would say, if Amazon can, I believe that the guys that are doing this are friends of Zachary Levi, the actor. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. But if Amazon can pull off this sort of a quality show that is biblically accurate and good, I think they're going to have something really powerful in their hands. So here's hoping. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Sixpence Productions, Facebook, Sixpence Productions, and look forward to my movie fix for next week, where I talk about the original Christopher Reeve Superman, because we love controversy here at Sixpence Productions. Anyway, have a good Friday, and we'll catch you later.